Hello to all the beautiful people of the internet. That was a little bit of a day on the snap. Welcome to another Cat Profile, and this time we are looking at Morgan Jones. He is male. His hair is black. He is in his late 30s. Before the apocalypse, we don't know what his job was, but after the apocalypse, he was a cook. I would love to see what his meals were. Before the apocalypse, not much is known except that he had a wife and a son named Dwayne, and he probably lived in Cynthiana, Kentucky. After the apocalypse, before meeting Rick Grimes, Morgan was an initial survivor with his son and wife. His wife died from the zombie fever and subsequently turned into one. In the volume Days Gone By, Morgan and Dwayne are travelling through Cynthiana and decided to lay low in one of the houses. One day, Morgan heard his son hitting a person with a shovel and discovers that the man is still breathing. The two take him inside, and the man later wakes up. Morgan invites the man to come eat with them and finds out that the man's name is Rick Grimes. Rick explains that he was in a coma for the last month and has no idea what has happened, so Morgan proceeds to tell him about the zombies and how the government had told people to travel towards the relative safety in Atlanta. Despite this, Morgan reveals that he decided to take his chances and avoid the city. Afterwards, Rick reveals that he was a sheriff's deputy and wants to return the favour for Morgan's hospitality. He takes Morgan and Dwayne to the local police station to grab some supplies. After taking some of the guns and ammo, as well as receiving a patrol car for Rick, the two men part ways and wish each other good luck. In the Morgan special, and yes, Morgan had a special, and it does happen between the events of Days Gone By and What We Become. His whereabouts are unknown for a while, up until Christmas, where Morgan and Dwayne are seen alive in safety and relative comfort. The exact specified time frame is not elaborated upon, but it is safe to assume as the pair are celebrating Christmas, it occurred when Rick and the survivors were travelling on the road to Wiltshire Estates, or for the first and only winter at the prison. I'd love to see a full-on comic of their adventures up until, what happened with Dwayne. In the volume What We Become, several months after Morgan encountered Rick, the pair re-encountered each other when Rick, along with Abraham Ford and Carl, Rick's son, made the decision to pass through Cynthiana to scavenge the remaining supplies in the police station for the road to Washington. The pair met nearly the exact same way as the first meeting, although this time it was an unshaven, crazy-looking Morgan who struck Rick down with the shovel. However, Morgan recognized his old friend and broke down emotionally soon after. Morgan explained since Rick last saw him, Dwayne had been bitten and reanimated. He recounts that it was about 3 months ago and that he had never heard his son scream like he did since he was a child. Morgan has been feeding his zombified son the bodies of 4 human looters and a couple of dogs. Morgan hints that he had to kill all of them out of necessity and self-defense. While he explains his situation on the brink of a breakdown, Rick asks him to leave the house and join their group. Morgan slowly agrees. Before he leaves, the trio hear a gunshot and Abraham assumes that Morgan killed himself. After Morgan left the house, Rick, Abraham, and Carl assumed he killed Dwayne. However, it is revealed Morgan instead shot Dwayne's chain. That rhymes, allowing him to roam freely. Since joining Rick's group, Morgan exhibited signs of severe mental illness and self-harming behaviors. He attempted to engage in conversation with Carl many times to relive his relationship with his dead son, which only garnered uncomfortable reactions from the latter. When the 4 travelled to the police station, Morgan began to smack his head against the wall in an emotional outburst, as he remembered only a year ago he had been there and Dwayne was alive. Evident from this outburst was a severe deterioration for his sanity. This concerned Rick and the group, and Abraham insulted Rick on his decision to bring him along. Ultimately, as the 4 travelled back to the others and encountered the herd, the trio and Morgan himself had little time to deal with his problems. In the volume Fear the Hunters, when Morgan and the others rejoined the rest of the survivors, he largely remained to himself. As the incidents involving the twins overwhelmed the group, along with Gabriel Stokes' sudden appearance and Dale's disappearance, Morgan's problems took a back seat. He was shown speaking to Rosita Espinosa and Michonne Hawthorne a few times, with the former commenting on her like for his grown with the former commenting on her for liking his overgrown hair. On the evening of Ben's death, Morgan was the sole member of the group who knew the killer was Carl, as they witnessed him returning to the tent shortly after the group was alerted. However, Morgan kept this to himself. Like the rest of the group, Morgan was pinned down in Father Gabriel's church by the hunters and remained behind Abraham as the other leaders took care of them. He was unharmed during and in the aftermath. Wiki doesn't have a good track record of being perfect sentences. In the volume Life Among Us, as with the rest of the survivors, Morgan successfully travelled and made it to the Alexandria safe zone. He, like the others, were attempting to adjust to living in the community, and it's revealed that Douglas Monroe wants to make him a chef. Morgan did attend the party that was thrown to welcome them there, but left after a short time, mainly because he felt uneasy seeing all of the people so happy. Michonne, who also left the party after he did, soon witnesses him and agrees with him. She then talks about how she made a scene because she hated listening to the women chattering on. She says it made her feel frustrated and alone, to which she rests her head on his shoulder for comfort. Though he seems a bit taken by the surprise of her gesture, he doesn't seem to mind letting her. In the volume Too Far Gone, in the next issue, after the next issue that ended life among them, it's revealed that Michonne and Morgan had sexual intercourse, although Morgan says it was a mistake. He considers himself an adulterer and is ashamed of himself. Sometime later, he and Glenn heard the gunshot of Rick killing Peter Anderson. And in the volume No Way Out, in issue 79, Morgan goes over to Michonne's home and apologizes for his behavior and explains he's still trying to deal with the fact that his wife is dead. He informs Michonne that he does like her and would like to get to know her better. Understanding he wants to take things slow, Michonne kindly offers him breakfast. The two begin sleeping together soon after. When the zombies begin to overrun the safe zone, Rick and Morgan start to clear the zombies out. At the end of issue 81, Morgan is bitten by a zombie after helping Rick fight a large group of the undead that broke through the community's defenses. Screaming, he falls to the ground, giving in to his attackers, much to Rick's protest. In issue 82, Morgan decides he wants to live and struggles off of the ground. Michonne comes to the rescue and amputates his infected arm with one swung of her katana. Hoya! She and Rick move Morgan to Rick's house, and the doctor patches him up. His condition looks grim, and Carl is left to guard him should he die and reanimate. During their time together, Morgan reveals he saw Carl shoot Ben, and he knew that he murdered him, but he understood why. Morgan has a heartfelt conversation with Carl and tells him to always remember that he is still a good person. Due to his fever, Morgan confuses Carl with Dwayne. Carl reminds him that Dwayne is dead, and Morgan becomes emotional as he remembers his son's death. Although he should not have lived from the blood loss from the improper amputation, it is unknown if his arm was severed before the infection had spread, so meaning he died, and Michonne prevented him from turning. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but Morgan's son Dwayne is actually a reference to Dwayne Jones, the actor who played Ben in Night of the Living Dead. And Kirkman revealed that Morgan was meant to be a George Romero tribute character, and he told Tony Moore, the artist, to draw him to look like a young Morgan Freeman, which I think they pulled off pretty well. So that was it for Morgan Jones. Let me know what you think of this character down below. Do you think the TV series did him justice, or do you think they should have stuck with the comic route? If you like what you see, please leave a like and subscribe. If you don't like what you see, please leave a dislike or go away. I don't really care. And have a good day.